Good day everyone, and welcome to this Talisman Series flight, and today we have the I-16 Type 5 Ishak. Now, recently I've had obviously a couple of baby accounts, and I tried to spade this thing on a baby account, and my god, it was torture. Constant up tiering, retard's luck, I could go on, so I'm not expecting much out of this. Obviously the first flight, well the Talisman Series flight in the BB-1 was a bit of an arse, but whatever. Um, and it went okay, like I say, eventually, once I got some mods on the thing. But thankfully, I spaded my I-16 Type 5 quite a few years ago on obviously my main account. And obviously, as you can see, I have a pretty colourful camouflage. There are others you can unlock on the aircraft. Obviously, I've got the blue on. There's the Rata, which looks really cool, Spanish Civil War-esque camouflage. There's the Moscow, which looks quite nice. The Civil, which looks quite nice. The Red, which looks pretty cool. The Blue, and the Yellow. Obviously, that just makes it look like a banana milkshake, so we're going to go with the I-16 Type 5 in the blue, because not only, fun fact, is blue my favourite colour, I just prefer the look of it in blue. It does look a lot nicer in the blue. Looks more like a racing plane, or maybe we could try the red if this first game doesn't go as well as I'd hoped. We'll see. So let's get cracking. Bit of history on the I-16. Obviously, it was one of the first Russian monoplanes designed and built in terms of fighters. It was a damn good aircraft for its time. That I will say. Very good for its time. Very good performance. Um, it was actually quite a decent threat to the early 109s. Obviously, in War Thunder, that is not the case. It is a complete threat to the early 109s. And I call this thing the TIE Fighter because it bloody flies like one. If you ever watched Star Wars, TIE Fighters are pretty maneuverable. And this thing flies like one. Obviously, this thing can pull some really daft maneuvers, unlike a TIE Fighter. And I'm not being funny, it's smaller than a TIE Fighter, so it sort of makes sense. But overall, I've never really bonded with the Type 5. I like the Type 10, I like the Type 18. Not a fan of the 24, but I do like the 27. Because the cannons on that thing are really useful. Okay, so consolidation of positions on Sicily. I've got serious mouthful, so drinking's probably not advised. I know exactly where the little shit is and all. I've always suffered with mouth ulcers, and it's on the top left of my, well, it's just behind my lip, on the top left-hand side, and it's fucking painful. Normally, I don't tend to complain about pain. I have a high pain tolerance, just like my mum. But in this case, it is a bit painful whenever I, well, not speak, but whenever I do something like eat something, or just in general, like drink something, it is kind of painful. So, Type 5 Ishak, 1.7 game looks like so far. This could be good for us. Fun fact about the I-16, the landing gear is actually hand cranked. I'll point this out in the cockpit for you. There's normally a gear lever on the right hand side, but that is what you would use to drop the gear and retract the gear. There should normally be a gear on either the left or the right hand side of the cockpit. I'm just pressing G to try and find where it is, but for some reason the Type 5 doesn't have it modelled, the rest of them do, I think. Yes, the I-16s are all hand cranked landing gear. The F4F Wildcat is also the same. I think the F3F Gallows and the F3F in the tree is also hand cranked. They had an awful lot of hand cranking. They didn't have mechanical systems like we do today. Obviously later in the war. But even so. Okay, we've got Doe 17 coming our way. Probably an E model. He's coming a bit balls deep, isn't he? Bit adventurous. It is an E model. He thinks he's got a front gun, so he's odd. Got a pilot. Lovely. That's what I was aiming for. And first kill. Why are you flying like that, you fucking idiot? That was very close. Still, first kill in the Ishak. Obviously, we are spaded, so we are going to be climbing a bit better than a stock Ishak. But grinding the skins for this thing, I actually had a worse time grinding the skins for this thing than what you would think. I got a lot of up tiers when I did that. Obviously, done those now. Did that about 2 years ago. They're nice skins. I like them. It's just I prefer either the blue or the red. Blue and red has always been a favourite colour of mine. I don't know why we got a crit notification there. We haven't even fired at another plane yet. But blue and red are some of my favourite colours. Black is also one of them. I do like the colour black. That's more of a standard sort of colour that I see on obviously sort of cars and things like that. Oh my god, there's so many of them right now. I think we're going into a bit of a shitstorm at the moment. That bozo 1913 has caught my attention. I wouldn't be surprised if that's an E1. Let's see if we can catch up to him and make him lose his altitude. This 112 has got interest in us. We do have combat flaps, but I don't really want to use them if we don't have to. It's a B model, that's even better. That's a bit more down to earth with the I-16 model. Or this I-16 model. And this is where we're going to struggle to catch up to him, because obviously he's going to outturn us at this high, or this speed, shall we say. So what I'm going to do is take it back into the vertical. Obviously our engine is starting to overheat, which is a bit of an arse, but that's just standard Ishak. There's not much you can do about that. Got a 112 and HE51 joining the party, which means we're going to get 3-ups. But we are going to try and fight to the death. Obviously, in a fight against just the V5, this thing will majoritively win. Obviously, I've got this twat to deal with, go away. Crit him, but obviously we do have the other crony from earlier on who is joining the party, and I wouldn't be surprised. Yep, the bloody Donnie is joining the fight. Yeah, okay, that's him dealt with. The Donnie is trying to join the fight now, that is hilarious. And also cute because it's Adonia. Alright, you're dead. Not a big surprise. Adonia was a bit of a daredevil, so we took a bit of an engine hit. They are returning to their airfield, smart men. But we got ourselves a good result out of that one. Are you kidding me? Is the oil really overheating this early? It's at 86 degrees. That's nothing. I'll cut engine then. I've never had the oil overheat at this kind of temperature on an Ishak before. Even when the oil is leaking. Right. Engine back on. So we need to gain on this 112B. I think it's a B. Yeah, it's a B0. I don't know why he's flying straight here, people, but that's his choice. Just caught my notebook on the side of my desk there, and there we go. 4 kills. That's pretty insane. We now need to get this thing home because, well, Ishaks don't like warm temperatures for some bloody reason. I mean, I see it as a good thing that they've nerfed the Ishaks in some way, but its oil does not overheat at 83 degrees. No chance. Like, oil overheat would be like 110 on some aircraft. Obviously, this thing's a radial engine. It shouldn't struggle that badly. But, nope. Gaijin apparently thinks this thing overheats like a bitch. But whatever. I like the Ishaks. We've gotten a good result for this game. Gladiator's going to ground pound. I don't blame him. And really? Base bombing in that? Get back to arcade for fuck's sake. We might as well just put the throttle to wep at this point. We've got that Dornier who had a crack at us. And we've got that 109B that's left. The 109B, not too scared about. The Dornier, no. He was just a muppet. It was an E model, I think. That's perfectly acceptable. But yeah, pretty good results so far. Obviously, we've not won yet. We've still got a long way to go, but hopefully we'll get this thing back before the engine dies. That was my sister. I do apologise about that. Yeah, she's just on about something. She's on about ordering pizza. She freaking loves pizza. Excuse me. Yep, engine's starting to go. And, well, yeah. Let's land it. Obviously, I-16 does have a pretty low landing speed, if I remember rightly. But obviously, we've got to account for the hand cranking. And the fact that I'm going to sneeze in a moment, and the engine's failing. Excuse me. Bloody hay fever. I took one of my strongest tablets today and all. I'm not even going to put the flaps down because I'm giving it wep and it's giving me next to no power. Giving me enough to get on the runway, but nothing. Right, well, we're at low enough speed anyway. We can kill the throttle at this point. What's left of it? Right, go on then, Ishak. Land. Don't do a toe landing. Which apparently he's going to try and copyright as a joke, obviously, but if he copyrights it, I'll just do it more to annoy him. DTT. I love it. I mean, there are a few places like in War Thunder Tanks where I like to camp and things. Well, not really camp, just like sit and watch my team die most of the time. Maybe pick up a retard rushing to spawn, but that's really it. And that I-15 idiot is now doing a steep dive and shooting. There's that doe. If that I-15 tries to team kill that gladiator, I am shooting him down. Because at this point, he hasn't exactly been useful. What's he doing? Is he really going to try and ram the gladiator? Gladiator appears to have landed, but he's coming in at too high a speed. Weird. Well, their funeral, not mine. The I-16 down there, which is a Type 10, for some reason is chasing a doe, yet the 109 is up high and it's a priority target, not a bomber. And even then, what's that bomber going to do? It's not even got a payload to take out one base in one pass. It needs 2 passes to kill a base. It's a bit of a shit bomber. Then you get that I-15 retard who was going around bombing bases in it. Look, 109 has just descended onto the I-16, probably going to kill him, because he just doesn't look. Sorry, but a Type 10 is one of my favourite I-16 variants. My absolute favourite is a Type 27. And there he goes. Type 10, gone just like that because you can't pay attention. I don't get why we get people like that in planes like that. I mean, look, level 48, you use tunnel vision like a fucking boss. And fair enough, this guy's a bit of a stat padder, but he's not a very good one, so I don't mind him being a B model. Maybe he's spading it? I don't know. But yeah, like I say, it's just standard teams really, like flying an Ishak. Standard teams, obviously, I mean, we've got an I-15 going for the Dornier when he should be engaging the fucking fighter. Mate, trust me, the Dornier 17E is the least of our concerns. A 109B flown by a skilled pilot will absolutely kick your ass. And that Type 10 is not exactly doing much. I don't think that's a... Is he in a... No, he's a Type 5, so... And there we go. I-15 just died because he's an idiot and went to a head-on. I've got a bit more of a dive on, but... That 109's also just come out of a dive, so... Come on, man. Kill the 109! You have the speed on him! For fuck's sake. Oh my god, this guy's fucking useless. I'm going to be looking at Ghidra TV1 stats. I mean, I don't mind the fact that the bomber's getting some points, but fucking hell, you are making a meal of this, mate. If I have to pull the trigger, I'm not going to be very happy. There we go, set it on fire. He's probably going to steal it because he's an arsehole, but... Nope, surprisingly not. One moment, my phone's going off, so... Right, I need to answer my phone, and I will see you all in the hangar. Apologies about that, that was my sister. She was ringing about just to say, like, my pizza's on the way, make sure you listen out for it and crap like that. I don't get why she just doesn't send a text. One thing I noted when I was actually just getting my final kill on that Dornier, after I got the kill on the Dornier, the two I-16 pilots behind me, probably on comms, for some reason decided to open fire on me. This Ghidra TV1, you can see low level retard trying to team kill. Same with his crony. I mean, he's level 78. You'd expect him to like not try and team kill, but yeah. Cell, never heard of him. That's Russian, so well, clearly they can't be in Cell because they don't have any brain cells. Whatever though, 6 kills, very surprising for a result. Obviously, I do like the I-16s. The Type 5 is really the one that I don't recommend people fly. Yes, it's a good plane, but if you're gonna fly an I-16 model and put Talisman on it, you either fly the Type 10 or the Type 27. The Type 10 because it can carry rockets, obviously the Russian or the normal rockets and then the Russian Bias 82s. And you also get 4 guns as opposed to 2 and a bit more power in the engine. The Type 18 is pretty good as well. The Type 24 isn't very good in my opinion. It's competitive, but it's just not as good as what it faces. And obviously later down the line in the Talisman series, we'll obviously have the I-16 Type 27. Very good aircraft, very good for both ground pounding and fighting. When I spaded it, at least, absolutely love the thing. But yeah, not a bad start. Obviously, we did get those dickheads at the end. Obviously, I didn't show that because I was on the phone. Yeah, you get players like that no matter the BR. I mean, he didn't even crit the 109. He didn't kill the Dornier, so I don't get why they had the rights to try and team kill, but whatever. I'll report him for attempted team kill. Probably nothing's gonna happen, but I don't care. And hey ho, you now know their names, so you can see that they're scumbags, and obviously they're Russians, so that just explains it. But anyway, next Talisman Series flight is not going to be a fun one. Where's the next plane for the candidate? It should be the, yeah, it's P283 there. But the next one is the SB2M103. Some people might be thinking it's not going to be that bad. All I'll say is go and look on Hairy Feet's channel for the, I think it's the SB2M103 MV3. He has a talisman on that. Mate, join a club. I have it on this thing. Don't get me wrong, the SB2Ms used to be freaking zeros. Or fat zeros, but nowadays they're a bit of a dog's dinner. We'll see what we can do. Obviously, we might try and use the nose turret against an enemy bomber. We'll see. But hope you enjoyed today's flight in the I-16 Type 5, and I will see you all on the next one.